Hello everyone, welcome to Virtual Board. This will be a hands-on video on Selenium testing. So basically I was practicing on few of the Selenium automation testing and a few of the elements. So specifically in this video we'll be discussing or we'll be seeing how we can work with iframes and how we can automate a web page that have iframe or nested iframe, and we can perform several operations on this. So to achieve this, what I have done, I have just passed a prompt to ChatGPT that give me some task, and based on the task that will be provided by ChatGPT to me, I'll be just working on it, and I'll also show it to you that how we can work on the task side by side. So for this task, what ChatGPT has generated basically is that need to go to a URL, and then there are several nested iframes. So I have to switch to the outer iframe, then the inner iframe. Okay, and then I need to extract some text and print it to the console. So that's how it works basically. So if you see, this is the URL in which we will be working, and basically we have to switch to the result frame, and result frame is the one basically which you can see on the right side of the screen. So this is the result frame, the bigger one. Okay, and then what we have to do, then we need to switch again to the inner iframe. So there are basically two iframes. So the smaller one, the small box on the screen that you can see, is the inner iframe, and then we have to extract the title of the inner iframe page, and it should be W3 Schools Online Web Tutorial, and then we have to print it to the console. So for the smaller box, we need to print, or we need to get the title, we need to print it on the console, and then what we have to do, we have to switch back to the outer content or to the main web page. So that's what we need to do in this case. So to achieve this, what I'll do, I'll just open Eclipse, and here is the basic code. So we just have written WebDriver, new Chrome driver. So we just initialize the new Chrome driver, and I've just added implicit wait for 10 seconds. So that will not affect anyways, but it is just added here. So to get the URL, so to navigate to that URL, we'll use driver.get method of Selenium, and then we'll simply we'll copy the URL. So this is the URL, and we'll copy it and we'll just paste it here, and by doing so Selenium will automatically navigate us to this URL. Now what we need to do, we need to switch to the result frame, that is the outer frame. So what we'll do, we'll inspect, okay, and we'll try to find out this frame. So if you can see, this is the iframe tag, and what are the selectors that we got here? So we got multiple selectors like ID and name. So for this video we'll be accessing it using the ID for the outer iframe. So what I'll write driver dot find driver dot switch to dot frame, because we need to switch to frame. So this is the method or command that we need to write. So here are three things. Basically we can switch to any iframe using index, using web element, or basically using name or ID. So what I'll use the name or ID one, and what I'll do, I'll just simply pass the ID over here. So the ID we already copied, we'll just simply paste it over here. Now by doing so, we will be able to switch to the outer iframe. Now the second step, or the second point, is to switch again to the inner iframe. So we'll try to inspect it also. So if you can see, if you'll scroll a little bit up, we'll see this is the inner iframe, and the properties that we got here are title only. So what I'll do, I'll try to access it using the XPath. We can also access it via source attribute, but we'll access it using the title. So what I'll write the same command, driver.switch to frame, that is basically used to switch to any iframe in your page, and then I'll select the one which is used for the web element switching. Okay, so I'll write driver.find element by XPath, and then we'll use double quotes, double braces. Okay, and then to write the XPath, you need to provide two slash. So I'll write // and then the tag name, that is iframe. Then we'll use square brackets, and then how are we accessing it? We are accessing it via title. So we'll provide @title and then equals to, and then we'll simply paste the title over here. So this is the simple way to access it using XPath also. There are multiple other ways you can also access it using CSS selectors. So you can access it any way you prefer. Okay, but I have used XPath here. Now, what is the third point? Third point is actually extract the title of the inner iframe page. So now we are inside the inner iframe. So if we try to access the title, so the title can be accessed using the driver.getTitle method, as our control is inside the inner iframe. So the getTitle method will only fetch the title for the inner iframe. Okay, and then we can store it in a variable. So we'll create a string inner frame title, and we'll just store it there in that variable, and then we can simply print it out using the system.out.println method. So we'll simply do that. Now there is one thing, that if our control would have been on the outer iframe or the outer web page, then this driver.getTitle would have fetched the title for that outer iframe or the outer web page based on where the control is at the moment. Then what is the last step? We need to switch back to the main content. So we can simply use the driver.switch to default content, and by doing so the control will directly came out of both the iframes. Okay, but instead if we wanted just to switch back to the parent iframe, and we do not want to directly came out of both the iframe, then what we could have used is driver.switch to dot parent frame. So by doing so, we would have just came out of the child frame to the parent iframe. Okay, so this is just one thing that I wanted to let you know. Then after doing all things, we need to just quit. So by writing driver.quit, our web page will open, all our methods will execute, and then at the end the browser will close. Okay, so let's run this. Let's save and run this. Now all our tests are run successfully, and if you'll switch back, so you can see in the console we are getting the title of the inner iframe, that is W3 school try it editor. So this is the expected result that we wanted to achieve. So if you see on line number 19, driver.switch to .frame, so this is the command that we basically use to switch to any iframes. And if you have nested iframes, then we can simply write driver.switch to switch inside the child iframe. So if you like this video and want more videos on Selenium, just subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching the video.